Summary of For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway. A young man and an older man talk about a bridge in the distance when they meet on the side of a mountain. The young man, Robert Jordan, is an American who teaches Spanish and fights for the Spanish Republican troops in the Spanish Civil War. The older man, Anselmo, is Robert Jordan's guide in the mountain area. Goals, a Soviet soldier who worked for the Republicans, told Jordan to blow up the bridge 2 nights before. This stopped the fascists, who were fighting against the Republicans, from getting into the area and stopped their advance. Jordan meets Pablo, the boss of the group of rebel fighters that Anselmo is part of. Jordan doesn't like Pablo right away because he is grumpy and won't work with him. Pablo and Anselmo take Jordan to their camp, where he meets Maria, a member of the rebel group. Even though she has a short haircut, she is beautiful, and he is drawn to her. Soon after, it comes out that Maria's head was shaved while she was a prisoner in Valladolid and that the guerrillas saved her from the rubble of a train that had exploded. Rafael, another guerrilla, remembers how terrified Maria was when they found her and how the old woman, Pablo's wife, tied a rope to her and beat her with it to keep her going through the mountains toward their camp. Jordan meets Pablo's wife, Pilar. She is a strict, bossy woman who seems to have more control over the group than her husband. Jordan asks her to read his hand, but she won't tell him what she sees. Later, while Jordan and Anselmo are checking out the bridge to get ready for the attack, they talk about faith and the nature of death. When Jordan and Anselmo get back to the camp, Pablo says he won't help with the attack on the bridge, but Pilar agrees with Jordan's plan because she likes him. Later that night, Rafael asks Jordan why he didn't kill Pablo for being disobedient. Jordan tells Rafael that he will have to kill him sooner or later. Pablo, who seems to be in a better mood, stops their talk and tells Jordan that he is welcome in the camp. Pilar notices that Maria and Jordan are getting closer to each other. At night, Maria goes to visit Jordan in his sleeping bag, where they tell each other they love each other and have sex. The group then goes through the mountains to find El Sordo, whose name in Spanish means the deaf one and who is in charge of another rebel group, and asks him for help. Pilar tells Jordan that several people who supported fascism in Pablo's neighborhood were killed in a brutal way. She also says that Pablo has lost faith in the war and the Republican cause. El Sordo decides to help Pablo's guerrillas attack the bridge, and on the way back to his camp, Maria and Jordan have more sex in the woods. In a long stream of consciousness part, Jordan thinks about how disappointed he is with the war and how little he cares about politics. He doesn't know what his future holds, but he wants it to include Maria. When Maria and Pilar meet again later, Maria tells Pilar that when she and Jordan were together, the earth moved, and Maria says that this only happens 3 times in a person's life when they are making love. At the camp, Pablo is angry and drunk, and he starts to make trouble for the group. This makes Jordan think about killing Pablo. Pablo leaves the camp, and the guerrillas, including Pilar, decide that he must be killed to protect themselves. But when Pablo comes back, his mood changes again, and he chooses to keep going with the bridge explosion. Jordan talks about what he did in Madrid before the war and how he met Kharkov, a writer and Soviet spy. After that, Maria and Jordan see each other again and decide that they feel like they are one person. The next morning, Jordan is woken up by a Nazi soldier coming toward him. He kills the soldier. The guerrillas know that the fascists struck El Sordo and his guerrillas, who were camping nearby on a hill. During the attack, the book switches to El Sordo and his men's point of view, and it is shown that the fascists were able to kill everyone in El Sordo's group. Jordan writes to the Republicans and General Goals to tell them to stop the bridge attack. He says that the fascists know where the guerrilla groups are and that they know where to find them. He thinks of his grandfather, who fought in the American Civil War. Later, Maria comes to see him, and the two of them dream of living in Madrid together. Maria tells Jordan about how the Phalangists, a group that broke off from the fascists, sexually assaulted her. The book then goes back to Kharkov's point of view. He is in Madrid at the Hotel Gaylord when he hears from a reporter that the fascists are fighting among themselves, but in reality, they have attacked El Sordo's group. In the morning, Pilar tells Jordan that Pablo has left the camp with the explosives. Feeling hopeless, she tells Jordan that she feels she has let him and the Republic down. Andres is the runner who has to take the letter from Jordan to goals. As he goes through the hills, he thinks about how much he loves bullfighting and how hard the Civil War has been. Back at the camp, Jordan is lying next to Maria and yelling quietly about Pablo, the other guerrillas, and how stupid the war is. In the hills, Republican troops stop Andres. At the same time, Jordan slows down and makes up his mind to keep going on the attack. He makes love to Maria as they enjoy their last moments together. Pablo comes back to the camp. He says he had a moment of weakness and threw the bombs into a river. When Pablo tells Jordan that he brought 5 men and their horses from a nearby town to join the group, Jordan feels better. Andres is taken to Goles's office, but André Marty, a Frenchman who works with the Republicans, thinks that both André and Rogelio Gomez, who is with him, are secret fascists and has them both jailed. Marty later sees he made a mistake and tells Goles, but it's too late because the Republicans have already started their attack on the bridge. At the bridge, Jordan and Anselmo kill the fascists who are coming at them and get ready for the bomb to go off. Anselmo dies in the explosion, and some of the other guerrillas die when fascists shoot at them. Jordan falls off his horse when a fascist shoots it as the remaining guerrillas try to leave the area. When the horse falls on his left leg, it breaks. Maria and Pilar try to help Jordan, but Jordan tells them to leave and save themselves. As Jordan gets ready for one last attack on the fascists before he dies, he sees that he has fought for what he believed in, and that even though he hates very much to leave the world behind, he is lucky to have had such a good life.
About the author. Ernest Hemingway was born in Oak Park, which is a neighborhood of Chicago. He grew up in a rich, well-educated family, and he always wanted to be a reporter. In 1918, not long after World War I started, Hemingway went to Italy to become a volunteer ambulance driver. He joined a group of American artists, such as E. E. Cummings, John Dos Passos, and Gertrude Stein, who supported the Allied powers' cause but could not fight because of their gender or age. Hemingway was hurt by mortar fire while delivering supplies to Italian soldiers at the front line. He then went home to Michigan and wrote about his experiences with shell shock in the short story Big Two-Hearted River. This story is about a wounded soldier who finds peace in the Michigan countryside after the war. In 1921, Hemingway went back to Europe and moved to Paris with his first wife, Hadley. He was eager to start over in a city where many artists lived abroad. Hemingway spent many years in Paris, where he became famous among foreigners. In 1926, when his first book, The Sun Also Rises, came out, he moved on to Key West, Wyoming, and the Caribbean. Hemingway went to Spain in 1937 to write about the Spanish Civil War. There, he got ideas for his book For Whom the Bell Tolls and his only play, The Fifth Column. In Spain, Hemingway saw the Battle of the Ebro, which was a terrible loss for the Republicans at the hands of the nationalist Francoist troops. After living in Paris for a while, where he saw the city freed from Nazi rule, Hemingway moved to Cuba. The Sun Also Rises earned the Pulitzer Prize in 1952 and the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. He retired to Idaho and committed suicide in 1961.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.